Nicandro. I am the House Chair of the Joint Committee on Higher Education. I am joined here today with my Senate Chair, Senator Michael Moore. And with the members of the committee, we have Representative Jay Livingstone, Representative Aaron Vega, and Representative Angelo D'Amelia are here representing the committee. We have a number of folks testifying today, so I think we're going to try to keep this brief. If anybody has a cell phone or something, if you can make it so it doesn't make any noise, we haven't had much problem with that in these hearings. And we're going to start off with a panel, which is Dionne Turner, Jonathan Bullock, and Jamie Feinstein. Do we have those folks? And also, if you could speak into the microphone because we are recording.
So I have copies of our testimonies. Would you all like copies?
Sure. Thank you.
My name is Nolan Tears.
Excuse me, can you just get a little closer to the microphone?
All right.
Thank you.
Cool. My name is Nolan Tears. I'm 23 years old, and I am a student at Mass Bay Community College since September 2009. I've taken many classes, and my favorites have been Principles Marketing and Principles of Advertising. Those two were the best because I got good grades in those classes, and I even liked the professor a lot. I really enjoy college because of the friends I meet, the faculty and staff that I got to work with, the knowledge and the skills that I am learning. I have learned to be independent, to stand at the top of my schoolwork, to be organized, and to meet deadlines. When I finish at Mass Bay this May, I plan to go for my dream of becoming an actor. I was recently filmed for a public service announcement for the ICI that they are putting together. I was also featured on a television segment, Inside Wellesley, in June 2012, where I spoke about my past experiences in the Transitional Scholars Program. I hope you will help to support people like me with intellectual disabilities in going to college. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good morning.
Jamie, you're going to need to move that over. Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
My name is Jamie Feinstein, and I would like to share with you today the many developments and successes that Mass Bay Community College has been a part of thanks to the Inclusive Concurrent Enrollment Initiative. So Mass Bay has been supporting students with intellectual and developmental disabilities since 2007 through the ICE initiative. In the fall of 2011, Mass Bay sustained the ICE program, and we renamed it the Transitional Scholars Program. At that time, we also began supporting students post-22, as well as students who have received their high school diploma and wish to continue pursuing their educational goals. We've supported 58 students to date, including the 15 students we currently have enrolled in Mass Bay's Wellesley campus. Students have gained increased levels of confidence, independence, self-determination, social skills, life skills, knowledge from coursework, and job skills through participating in this fully inclusive college experience. We are going to add an internship component to the program this next fall. Students will work with our Office of Career Services and participate in a semester-long internship. We're really excited about it. They're going to get to choose their internship site and be able to go from there for the semester. We're looking to expand opportunities to students in our Framingham campus. This will likely happen once Mass Bay has a new Framingham location that's more accessible. Mass Bay is also interested in becoming a comprehensive transition program through the U.S. Department of Education. This would allow eligible students to receive financial aid towards attending the Transitional Scholars Program. So we've got a lot of things on our docket. I have seen firsthand the kind of impact that the ICE initiative has on students with intellectual disabilities. I've also seen the impact this program has on our college as a whole, on the faculty, the peers, the staff that have the privilege of working with these students every day. I invite you to come by Mass Bay and see it for yourself firsthand. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Jonathan Bullock. I am 23 years old. I have been a Mass Bay student since the fall of 2009. As a Boston Public School student, I was part of the ICE program for 3 years until I turned 22. After that time, I continued at Mass Bay independently and will be graduating this May with my management certificate. During my time at Mass Bay, I have learned how important going to college is for me and my future. I've been involved in student government for 3 years and hold the position of a senator. I love playing basketball and was also a member of the basketballers program. You should see my jump shots. I learned how to do my homework on my own, how to work well in groups, giving presentations, keeping a good schedule, staying on task, and finding help when I need it. I have accomplished a lot during my time at Mass Bay. I am working with Mass Rehab Commission and Mass Bay Career Services to find a job for me when I graduate college. I am excited to begin a paid job so that I can be a productive worker and have a more independent future. If anybody is hiring, please let me know. I feel it's important to support students with intellectual disabilities in having a college experience like I did. Thank you very much for your support.
Thank you very much for your testimony. You did a great job. Do we have questions from the committee?
Just a quick comment, Mr. Chairman. I just want to congratulate you both, Nolan, Senator. Very impressive testimony today, and we can obviously see the value in the programs you're participating in. So thank you for taking the time to come to the State House today. And if I hear of any jobs, I'll keep you posted. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? I think just one of the things, just to sort of lay the groundwork a bit, the Inclusive Concurrent Enrollment Program was a pilot program that was first funded through the budget approximately 7, 8 years ago. And if you could just give us a little, just very briefly, maybe a minute or so on what the program is, so that the folks can have a better understanding of what it is we're talking about.
Okay, so inclusive concurrent enrollment is a program specifically for students with intellectual and developmental disabilities between the ages of 18 and 22 who are still connected to their high schools. And so it's an opportunity for students to come to a college campus and have a fully inclusive college experience. So everything about it is a true college experience. There's nothing separate about it. Students participate in classes that are on the course catalog and have experiences like student government and like Glee Club that Nolan's a part of, and have a full college experience. And the goal of it is to help students get jobs. So that's what we're working towards. And all the life skills and the self-advocacy skills that are happening on campus is helping these students be able to have an independent life post-college.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
I also want to introduce Representative Denise Provo has joined us. Any other questions? Thank you very much all for your testimony. Next we have, we have 2 pages. Next we have Amy Davignon, Lumine Montisoy, and Dr. Batalino. I believe you're all the same. Are you all the same panel? Come on up, Lumine. And I don't know why I have so much trouble with your name, Doctor. I actually studied, I had a year of Italian in college, and I don't.
Omit the G.
What's that?
Omit the G.
Batalino is what you say?
Yes.
All right. I will try to remember that next time.
You can call me Lisa.
Go ahead. Thank you all for being here.
Good morning. My name is Lumine Montisoy. I go to school at Dorchester Academy, and I go to college at UMass Boston. At UMass Boston, I studied world music. This class teaches me how to hear different sounds and learn about how different cultures hear sounds. I have also learned new vocabularies. This class has 3 exams. So far, I completed my first exam, and I feel like I'm learning a lot. This year, I have a job on campus. I go to work at the greenhouse in the biology department. I water the plants, I feed the fish, and I feed the water containers for the bird cages. I also feed the snapping turtles. This is tricky business because the turtles can snap your fingers, but they're just babies. I also plant vegetables such as corn and beans. These are just a few of things I have learned to do at my new job. Last year, I met my mentor, and she's nice to me. We talk about ourselves, talk about cultures. We sit together at the campus center and talked about college. I enjoyed spending time with her. She has a great happiness to her. Now that I'm in the ICE program, I can do activities and fun events. This semester, I took swimming lessons every Saturday to exercise my legs. I took my swimming lessons at the Clark Athletic Center. I can swim better now, and maybe on spring break, I can sign up for sailing lessons. When I finish my swimming lessons, I watch the college hockey games. I am also getting ready for outdoor track. In the past, I always stayed home playing with my laptop or watching TV. Now that I'm in the ICE program, I can get out of the house and do something active. The ICE program is very important to me in my life. Without the funds of the ICE program, people with unique talents couldn't go to college. This program should grow and allow all students with unique talents to become successful. I would like to say thank you to all the people from UMass Boston who made my dream possible.
Thank you very much. That was great.
Thank you.
So good morning. My name is Amy Davignon, and I am the director of the Student Service Center in the College of Education and Human Development at the University of Massachusetts, Boston. I'm here to testify in support of legislation that will increase inclusion of individuals with intellectual disabilities and autism in higher education. The Inclusive Concurrent Education Enrollment Partnership has enrolled students with disabilities from local public high schools for the past 4 semesters at UMass Boston since the fall of 2012. These students audit courses that match their personal interests in order to experience fully inclusive higher educational settings. A total of 32 students have participated across the 2 years of the program implementation. The goal of the Inclusive Concurrent Enrollment Program is to provide secondary students with significant intellectual disabilities an opportunity to participate in an inclusive educational setting outside of their special education classrooms. The objectives are to provide an opportunity for these students to pursue their interests and learn skills such as self-advocacy and self-sufficiency in a post-secondary school setting. Students are identified through our partners at Boston Public Schools' STRIVE program and Braintree Public Schools' PROVE program. Students selected are above the age of 18, have been diagnosed with significant intellectual disabilities, and will age out of secondary school without having passed the MCAS requirement for graduation. Students receive explicit travel training on how to use public transportation by their educational coaches, and a mentoring component has been designed and implemented to provide peer-to-peer support for navigating the university setting and accessing university resources. Some of the courses students have taken: world music, introduction to critical thinking, introduction to creative writing, piano lessons, which you did, drum lessons, singing lessons, or introduction to sociology. We've recorded the following results. Students have learned to advocate for themselves in terms of accommodation through the UMass Boston's Ross Center for Disability Services. Students have participated in various social events, extracurricular activities, and have used their new student IDs to access discounts at local venues. Students have expanded their social circles to include other students on campus, and students are enriching the UMass Boston classrooms with an additional type of student diversity. Students have spoken in legislative and conference forums about the impact of the ICE experiences, and they have reported that they have gained more confidence as they learned to travel to and from campus. Our students have also assumed facilitative roles in the ICE partnership advisory meetings. Grant funding from the Massachusetts Department of Elementary and Secondary Education has enabled students in this program to expand their educational experiences in inclusive community settings and to achieve higher levels of independence. Continued support is crucial for this program to sustain gains in student development.
Thank you.
Hello. My name is Lisabatalino, and I'm the Dean at the College of Education and Allied Studies at Bridgewater State University. But for 20 years prior to that role, I was a professor and a faculty member at Bridgewater State. So as you can imagine, when I was asked to take a student into my course with an intellectual disability, I should have been the perfect candidate, and yet I was actually reluctant. Although I'm a lifelong advocate of inclusion in public schools, I wasn't certain there was a place for it in college-level courses.
but in an effort to be able to argue knowledgeably about the ICE program, I accepted a student. I asked that the aide take a seat in the back of the classroom, away from the student, and that she do nothing unless I felt the need to call upon her for help. I wanted as little distraction from my typical routine as possible. What I found was that the ICE student made the course better for every single student in the class. When I was proceeding through my lectures too quickly, he would ask me to slow down and ask me to repeat material. Inevitably, others in the class would point out that I was moving too quickly for them as well. When students were asked to work in groups, I would see the ICE students group work particularly carefully and thoughtfully to plan for a presentation or to re-examine the material. The ICE student also brought a sense of community, kindness, and camaraderie to the college classroom, an element that's often missing due to the diverse makeup and busy lives of college students. The class I taught was among the best courses I've ever taught. Every student learned more, participated more, and respected and valued their classmates in a way I'd seldom seen in a college classroom. When discussing this with other professors with enrolled ICE students, they reported similar findings. I support the program for the good it will do for the small amount of ICE students that participate, but the biggest value of this program is what it's added to the college experience for the huge number of non-disabled students at Bridgewater State. They not only receive a richer academic experience, but they also experience directly the value of working and participating with people with disabilities. It's in this tremendous benefit that we'll produce better scholars and citizens in the student body at Bridgewater State University. Last autumn, on a quintessential beautiful New England day, I was walking from the library to the campus center. Between the two buildings is an area where students sit. There are tables, and they just sort of relax between classes. As I was walking, I noticed that 3 male college students were sitting at a table, and as I got closer, I found that one of the young men was one of our ICE students, a student with Down syndrome. I approached the group and I said hello and asked what they were up to, and they explained to me that they were studying lines to a play for their theater class. They told me what their parts were, and then without actually saying get lost, they made it clear that they wanted to get back to work. As I left them, I was struck by the knowledge that the student with the disability looked exactly like the other students. And if I hadn't recognized him from the ICE program, he wouldn't have been a bit different than the others. And that's what the ICE program's all about. Whether a student is black or white, Muslim or Christian, cognitively challenged or a genius, we all function better by working well with others and leveraging the strengths each person brings to any given situation. Including ICE students in college courses is our responsibility at Bridgewater State in our mission to create citizens for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts who are able to work with and relate to people from diverse backgrounds and capitalize on the strength of each of these people. It's critical that the ICE program and similar initiatives are supported and expanded to enhance the educational experience for all students seeking higher education. Thank you.
Thank you all for your testimony. Do we have any questions? Representative Vega.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a quick question about the mentoring program. How does that work? So you're utilizing obviously current students at the college, and are they applying for it? Are they in particular genres of study, or where are they? How does that program work?
Can you just use whoever's going to answer, use the microphone, please?
Our students do apply for it, and we have a large list of applicants too, and those students are paid as well. Not a huge amount of money, but they do receive some money, and they work with the student for the semester, but often apply to work with the student if the student stays 2 semesters.
So right now, our program's very new. We've recruited students. We're going to try and pay them this semester. We've recruited students, and we match them up according to interest, schedule, and availability of both the student in the ICE program and the student on campus.
Thank you, thank you.
Any other, Representative Provo?
Yes, thank you all for your testimony. Ms. Davignon, you mentioned that the students in the ICE program on your campus audit courses. That means that they're not getting credit and they can't receive certificates, as one of the young men on the previous panel is going to do?
Well, currently, we don't offer a certificate program, so it wouldn't be feasible to put them in a grade-bearing course or a course. Students register as non-matriculated students at this point.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Our students also audit, I believe all the students in the ICE program, for the most part, audit the courses. And that's acceptable for actually anyone in the community. It's not just those students, anyone who wants to audit a course. But it's believed that they may not be able to handle the academic rigors, such as exams, at the same level. So it is our belief at this point, it puts most of these people at a disadvantage. It puts them in a perfect position to audit, however. And if after a few of these courses, it was found that the person could handle the academics, they would certainly be entitled to enroll for a course as a non-matriculated student after this point.
That's great. It just, one gentleman said he'd be graduating with his management certificate in May, and I wondered how usual that was. Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you all.
Thank you very much.
Next, we have Annguay, Dr. Joyce. Out of these, I'm not sure if are you on a panel, Ann? You're on a, okay. Annguay, Dr. Joyce Butler, and Francesco Paladzin. Thank you, Francesco. Great. Are we going to see it? Is it going up there too? Okay.
Can we begin?
Go ahead.
Good morning, Chairman Sanacandro and Chairman Moore and members of the committee. My name is Annguay, and I live in Bedford with my husband Marty and our 3 children. Like many parents of teenagers, I'm a tad bit preoccupied with the entire college admission process. What mother doesn't want to see her child accepted at the college of his or her choice? In Bedford, the college search process is a bit like a competitive sport. Wherever I go, the conversation eventually turns to a discussion about weighted GPAs, class ranks, SATs versus ACTs, PSATs, and national merit finalists. We trade our college admission stories like our husbands traded baseball cards as children. When our daughter Mary Catherine began to consider colleges, we hired essay coaches, wrote checks to Princeton Review, and paid private tutors to help her obtain stellar SAT scores. Now it's her brother George's turn. He spent February vacation visiting schools in Baltimore and Providence. We'll do all that we can to help him find the school of his choice. And yet the most interesting college search in our family is for our son Brian. He's 19 years old and attends Bedford High School. He's a really good rower, a decent skier, and really active in Best Buddies and Special Olympics. For 2 years, he helped teach a special needs CCD class and is a pretty good artist. Earlier this year, he took a vocational test and was asked what his career plans were. He said he'd like a career in management. Our guidance department repeats the mantra, there's a college for everyone, but is there? What I neglected to tell you about Brian is he also has autism, epilepsy, a developmental disability, an IQ in the low 60s, an anxiety disorder, and he'll never, ever pass MCAS. And yet he really wants to go to college. The reason he wants a job in management is because he knows that's what his father does. He also wants to go to college so he can fall in love like his dad did. And can you blame him? The college process started shortly after Brian landed at Lab. He kept asking us where he'd go to college. Honestly, as his parents, we never even let ourselves think about the possibility of Brian going to college. One day we were driving around Bedford and he saw the sign for Middlesex Community College and said, I'm going to go to Middlesex. Frankly, I was shocked he could even read the sign. His college plans became a borderline obsession, and there was no real solution in sight. Anywhere he saw anyone of importance in his life, he would tell them, "I'm going to college." He even went to his doctor and insisted that they write his interest on his chart. When one specialist said there was nowhere to write it, I suggested he find space and just write it down for the benefit of everybody in that room. And he did. Last Easter, a nephew of a guest came along wearing a Middlesex sweatshirt. Brian cornered him near the buffet table in our dining room and started peppering him with questions about Middlesex, telling him how lucky he was he got to go there. He asked about what classes he was taking and, more importantly, where to find a girlfriend. When the young man left our house, he told me it was the first time anyone in his life had expressed so much interest about his college choice. Brian would say he wanted to go to college, and I would say we would work on it. We learned about the ICE program and thought it would be perfect for a student like Brian, but unfortunately, Middlesex Community College didn't participate in 2012. We learned that Middlesex did have a transitional program for students with disabilities, but it was for students who are much less involved than Brian. Moreover, it was not an inclusive model. He really wants to be fully included, even though he doesn't know what the term means. He was getting older, and we were at a loss as to what to do. Julia Landau at Mouse Advocates told me that she thought Brian could benefit from ICE and offered to help us try to bring it to Middlesex. We started to discuss it with folks in Bedford, including the superintendent and the special education department. It didn't hurt that I was on school committee. We all agreed that it would be an ideal program for Brian and agreed to make it a reality. Brian still continued not to miss a chance to ask to go to Middlesex. At Bedford Day Parade, he stopped Senator Mike Barrett and told him he wanted to go to Middlesex. Senator Barrett was intrigued and agreed to help him. Chairman Sanacandro also knows Brian, knew of our interest, and offered to help. Middlesex agreed to apply for the program. They filed an application and are now part of a pilot program that was approved this year. He'll be part of a group of students that starts in the fall. Frankly, it's more than I could have ever hoped for. This past Christmas, Brian asked for a Middlesex Community College sweatshirt and a sticker for my car. He was so excited when he opened his gift on Christmas morning and found his sweatshirt. He wears it everywhere. We can't wait for classes to start, and he can't wait to fall in love. ICE is making a real difference in a family like mine. There are so many students like Brian who would love a chance to go to college. Please help him make it a possibility for them as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Francesco, we need you to have the microphone as well, Francesco.
No problem.
And you're using a PowerPoint. Is it possible to put it on that side? I guess we all need to turn around if we're going to see Francesco's PowerPoint as well. Want to try? Who's got? Can you hit F5? Is that you running that? There you go.
College life. Hello. Let me introduce myself. My name is Francesco Gladys. I attended the Bridgewater State ICE program. I have an intellectual disability since I was born. What I have accomplished in my life. I have audited 3 courses. Introduction to Special Education with Dr. Lisabatalino, Graphic Design 1, and 2-Dimensional Design. And I learned how to be independent. The things I learned while I was on campus. I learned to take the train home with my friends. I learned to use Connect Card by buying snacks and lunch. I learned how to use the library to take out books. I learned to keep appointments with my education coach and my peer mentors, Chris. I learned to do my class assignments on time. During the free time, I explored the campus and walked in town. Why I chose these courses. Introduction to Special Education, I wanted to take this course to learn more about my disability and why I am in special education. Graphic Design 2 and 2-Dimensional Design, I took those to learn more skills and work in graphic design. I have taken graphic design art classes at Wayman High School. I learned how to take the train to Bridgewater and home, making new friends and keeping the old ones too. What was the best thing about being at college? I felt more independent, making new and keeping the old friends and getting to know my friends, making my way around campus. What I liked about auding 3 courses: getting to know my professor a lot better, working on new things that I didn't know before, working together to resolve classwork, making new friends, doing the same work as everyone else, and learning different arts and artists. What a classroom looks like in a college setting. Working together. I was behind my classwork one day. My classmate helped me catch up. I met her on campus. We worked until 2 a.m. Not fun. We became such great friends. I will cherish that forever. Future just ahead. What I hope for my future. The special education students can go to college just like everyone else. The special education adults that have the same rights as in life. I want to teach them how to be independent for the real world. And I want to teach them the same thing as I learned in school, like they say, teach one and I will follow you. What I'm thankful for in life. I am thankful for having so much support from my God, family, friends, teachers, and supervisors. I just want the same thing as everyone else in life. I care so much about my disability. Sometimes I wish I didn't have a disability, but I realize that everyone has trouble learning, but it's just a part of life. It's not just me. If I didn't have this opportunity, I would be stuck in my life skills class doing the same work as everyone else for the 4 years in school. I will see all my friends go to college. Thanks for all the support. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Tough act to follow. I'm Joyce Butler. I am here to share with you my support for the dual enrollment ICE program, a joint venture between colleges and local public school districts. For the previous 8 years, I had been the special education director in South Hadley Public School District, and before that, I was a general education teacher, a special education teacher, and a principal. I am currently working at UMass Amherst as a lecturer and practicum coordinator in the special education graduate program. It's a very nice opportunity. As a special education director, I was approached by one of our middle school students with an intellectual disability. She said to me, "I want to go to college." I decided that if she had the will, it was my responsibility to find the way. For us, this door opened to higher education was open to our students who had previously been left behind, all because of the ICE state funding and the exemplary leadership of HCC's Ty Hansen and Maureen Conroy. Let me take a moment to thank you for endorsing this initiative. I think it was 9 years ago, but you said 7 or 8, so I could be wrong. It was you who provided the financial support, and because of you, we have developed a successful and cost-effective higher education model for students with more significant disabilities. None of us, and you've heard this all morning, should ever be defined by our weaknesses. Yet that has often been the case for students with intellectual disabilities. Our students understand full well, in their own way, the excitement and opportunities offered to high school seniors who are college-bound. They also understand that they have been left behind and left out of that excitement. Some. Though I realize that many people believe that some students are too disabled and could not benefit from the college experience, I can attest that our HCC students have grown and flourished and have exceeded even their own expectations. It's Pretty cool. One of our students attended several education classes, and as a result of that experience, she decided she would enter the daycare field. She will earn a paycheck, and she will have the opportunity to craft a very meaningful and very satisfying life. Another student who presented at the DESE Transition Conference that we helped organize last spring spoke in front of 200 people. And she wasn't shaken, let me just say. And she said, "What I learned from the college experience is how much I am capable of doing for myself and how to set higher goals for myself. But more importantly, my parents learned how capable I really am." I have a whole new perspective about the ICE program since working at UMass Amherst, and please don't hear this as a slam to them. And my presentation about how I handled this little scenario that I'm about to tell you was very interesting and taught me a lot about teaching, but is outside of the scope of today's discussion. So give it that frame. I have had the opportunity to work with non-disabled undergraduate students. Some skip class, some don't hand in their work and are surprised by the impact on their grade. And during class, some text or shop online, and others play video games. Let me just say that didn't happen for very long, but it happened. I find it interesting that there is a very little challenge about the appropriateness of these students attending college, while we question college participation of enthusiastic and hardworking students with intellectual disability. Legally, I believe we have a responsibility to offer the college experience to our students. This complies with the transition requirements of the special ed law. I suggest to you that we also have a moral obligation to include students in higher education. Inclusion is not just for pre-K through 12 kids, but for students through their 22nd birthday. Our high schools, designed for 14 to 18-year-olds, cannot meet the learning needs of students with disabilities who remain with the public school high school for 8 years. And 20-year-olds learning alongside 14-year-olds cannot provide a peer group for either population. With ICE, students learn to independently take public transportation to attend their college classes that they have chosen. Students learn to participate in the college community, and they learn about responsibility, accountability, planning, scheduling, ownership of one's life, and multitasking. Is that not what they all learn when they go to college, one hopes? Through this extension of the learning environment, students strengthen their self-determination and self-advocacy skills necessary to be thriving adults living enviable lives. Financially, offering the program to students is cost-effective for a school district. Remember, I was a SPED director for 8 years. It's cost-effective. It works. It costs $6,700 per year for each student to attend the ICE program at HCC. Compare this to a private special education placement for students that can cost upwards of $100,000 a year. Compare this to the cost of small, separate special education classrooms that cannot even begin to reach the goals for our students because of the limitations of a high school that is designed for a 4-year program of study. Compare this to legal fees that a school district can face if a parent enforces their child's right to a program that prepares their child for adulthood through a transition plan that has options and integrity. It is my belief that the ICE program should be an option for all students. Thank you for your support of this program to date. I encourage you to continue it and grow it. I am very proud of our work, and I thank you for allowing me to do this work, and I hope you are proud of yourselves too. We have given students the gift to dream, and there is no greater gift.
Thank you very much. Any questions from the committee? Thank you. Thank you all for your testimony. Next, we have Mary Marr. Mary? Felicia Wilzinski. Thank you. Go ahead, Doctor.
Well, good morning. My name is Felicia Wilzinski, and I'm the Dean in the College of Education and Human Development at UMass Boston. And I think you've heard from one of our students, Lumine, tell you about her experiences with us. I don't know how much more I can add to tell you what I've seen with the students who have come to UMass, flourishing and learning so much. Our program is totally inclusive. The students come to us, they participate in orientations with the rest of the incoming college students that come to campus. They also participate in regular classes and work with all of the offices on campus that work with students who are enrolled in degree programs. This year we've had an opportunity to start service learning projects and have student mentors who are undergrads, peer mentors for students, and also Lumine and some of the others who have been repeaters at UMass have also served as mentors for the new incoming students. So we've had a whole kind of program running here that supports the students from the various high schools. Our ed coaches have been key in their development and in the success of the program. I thank you for funding this program in the past and hope that that can continue. The students are just, flourishing in the courses that we've had, and, I'm hoping that that will continue. I think the previous panel had said a lot about parent roles and hopes and dreams for their students, and we've seen that as well. Our students are coming from the Boston Public Schools, and the opportunities that we're able to give them right in their own community has just been, I think, rewarding for all of them. Students currently are auditing programs. They can take courses for credit if they fulfill the prerequisites. So we have a number and a range of possibilities for our students. Again, I wanted to thank you for your funding and hope that you will continue to support this program for our students.
Thank you very much.
I have some information.
Any questions from the committee? Thank you. Next, we have Denise McNair.
Good morning.
Morning.
I am the Assistant Dean in the College of Education at UMass Boston. I'm working with Dr. Wolzinski and Amy Davignon and working with coordinating the grant at UMass Boston. And I just wanted to say here this morning that seeing the ICE students come in from the beginning to the end, they have flourished, they have gained independence, they have gained their confidence. And also, this opportunity this year has bridged an opportunity with UMass Boston and the Boston Youth Fund for job opportunities on campus. So we're working with our Department of Human Resources at UMass Boston and finding job opportunities for the students. Again, I'm here to say thank you, and thank you in advance for your continued support and funding for the ICE students at UMass Boston. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any questions? Thank you. Next, we have Ryan McLean. Alexis Oppenheim. Oh, okay. Brian Ramsey, are you testifying? No, you just signed in? Okay, thank you. And I'm not sure, Brian, are you, Heffernan, are you testifying? Okay. And I believe, is there anyone else to testify on House 1080? Do you want to, would you like to testify? Please, come.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to testify briefly about this legislation. My name is Julia Landau, and I work at Massachusetts Advocates for Children. We strongly support legislation to promote access to higher ed for students with intellectual disabilities and autism. And I think you've heard already, and the students probably speak the most eloquently, although everybody spoke very eloquently, about why it's so important for the students themselves, but for the whole college community. And the reason this legislation is so important is we've, with the support of the legislature, provided this discretionary grant program. but we've now learned how important it is, how successful it can be, and we need legislation to provide these opportunities throughout all the colleges and for students throughout the Commonwealth. This is the new frontier, and so we really appreciate your support for this legislation and initiative to broaden opportunities. And there is a briefing today at 12:30 in the House Members Lounge about the funding for the discretionary grant program, so we welcome you to attend that as well.
Thank you for all your work on this, and Julia was the person that actually brought this language initially to the legislature, apparently maybe 9 years ago, which was a sentence on a piece of paper that is really changing the world. So thank you for your dedication and your movement on this.
Thank you. It's a privilege.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you very much for attending. We're going to close the hearing on House 1080. And as Julia Landau said, we do have a briefing at 12:30 today in the members' lounge. Do we have someone else who wants to testify? Okay, I'll answer your question afterwards, okay? Thank you very much, and I'm going to close the hearing. Thank you.